Sometimes, the world sees a woman smiling, but no one sees the storm she hides behind that smile. They see her juggling work, home, and a million other things with what looks like effortless grace. But behind that calm exterior, there's often a silent battle, a story of strength that goes unnoticed, a resilience that's taken for granted. This is a story about that strength, the kind that's forged in silence, the kind that many of you might know all too well. It's the story of a woman named Ayesha, but in her, you might just see a reflection of yourself, your mother, your sister, or your friend. Every single morning, long before the first rays of sunlight touched the sky, Ayesha's day began. The familiar ritual was her silent promise to her family. The aroma of freshly brewed tea filled the small kitchen, a warm welcome to the new day for everyone but her. She moved like a phantom, packing lunchboxes with care, each one a little package of her love. She'd meticulously iron clothes, smoothing out every crease, ensuring her family looked their best to face the world. And amidst this whirlwind of activity, in the quiet hum of the early morning, Ayesha somehow, always, forgot about herself. It wasn't that she was weak. Far from it. Ayesha possessed a strength that could move mountains, a quiet fortitude that held her family together. But she was tired, deeply, profoundly tired of being the strong one. Day in and day out, tired of being the pillar that everyone leaned on, without ever having a shoulder for herself. The world saw a capable, smiling woman, but they didn't see the exhaustion that settled deep in her bones, the weight of expectations she carried on her shoulders. Her own needs were always pushed to the bottom of the list, a list that never seemed to get any shorter. In the busy rhythm of their lives, the small signs were easily missed. No one seemed to notice the subtle tremor in her hands as she poured the morning tea, a faint quiver that betrayed the calm she projected. No one asked why her eyes often looked puffy and swollen, dismissing it as just lack of sleep. When asked how she was, her answer was always the same, a practiced, I'm fine. It was a shield she held up, a wall she had built brick by brick. Because from a young age, so many women like Ayesha are taught that silence is a virtue, that enduring without complaint is a sign of strength. But what they don't teach you is that silence can also be the sound of slowly breaking. Silence can be a heavy cloak for unspoken pain, a quiet echo of a lonely heart. One evening, seeking a moment of solitude, Ayesha found herself on the rooftop. She watched the vibrant colors of the sunset bleed into the deep, dark velvet of the night sky. The city lights began to twinkle below, each one a tiny world of its own, and she felt utterly alone. In a voice barely louder than a whisper, a question escaped her lips, directed at the vast, indifferent sky. Does anyone see me? Does anyone even hear me? It was a plea from the deepest part of her soul, a crack in the dam she had so carefully constructed. And for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, the tears came, and they didn't stop. They weren't gentle tears. They were a torrent, a storm of grief she had held back for years. She cried for the dreams she had carefully folded and tucked away, the aspirations she had sacrificed at the altar of her family's needs. She cried for all the words she had swallowed, the opinions she had suppressed, the no's she never allowed herself to say, and most of all, she cried for the boundless love she gave so freely, so unconditionally, without ever thinking to ask for a drop of it in return for herself. In that moment under the blanket of stars, Ayesa was not a wife or a mother. She was just a woman, grieving for the person she had lost along the way. As she sat there, wrapped in her sorrow, a small, warm presence settled beside her. It was her little daughter, Noor. The child didn't ask what was wrong. She didn't offer empty reassurances. She simply sat, her presence a comforting anchor in Ayesha's storm. Then, Noor did something profound in its simplicity. She reached out and took her mother's hand, her small, soft fingers wrapping around Ayesha's tired ones. It was a connection, a silent acknowledgement of her pain. Then, in a soft, clear voice that cut through the night, Noor said, "Mama, you don't have to be strong all the time. It's okay. You can rest. I'm airy." Those simple words, spoken with the pure, unvarnished honesty of a child, were everything. They were permission. They were acceptance. They were the first truly soft touch, the first moment of genuine, unconditional support that Ayesha had felt in years. It wasn't a grand gesture, but it was the key that unlocked the cage she had built around her own heart. In her daughter's eyes, she saw not a pillar of strength, but her mother, a human being who deserved rest and comfort. That night, something shifted within Ayesha. The tears had washed away the facade, and in its place, a quiet resolve began to bloom. She promised to speak her truth, to give voice to her needs and her dreams. She promised to breathe, to take up space, to no longer make herself small, to make others comfortable. And most importantly, she promised to love herself with the same fierce, unwavering devotion that she had always reserved for everyone else. This wasn't an act of selfishness. It was an act of survival. It was the beginning of her journey back to herself. She was finally, truly, learning to live, not just to exist for others. The next morning, when she brewed the tea, she poured a cup for herself first. A small act, but a revolution in her world. This story isn't just about Ayesha. It's a reminder for every woman who feels invisible, for every woman who is tired of being strong. Sometimes, all you need is for someone to see you, to hear you, and to tell you, you matter. Your feelings matter. Your dreams matter. But don't wait for someone else to say it. The most powerful voice you can hear is your own. Is you. Be that person for yourself. Start today. Thank you for listening. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that empowers and uplifts. You are not alone.